Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 Shruti Sharma.
Good evening, aspirants. Welcome to the Hindu News Analysis discussion brought to you by ForumIAS for the date 23 June 2023. Today we will be covering 5 topics, and these are the list of news articles that we are going to cover for today's discussion. We will be covering 5 topics from international relations, science and technology, health, and a topic from governance. Alongside this, we will also be covering 2 previous year prelims questions at the end of the discussion. So with this straight away, let us move to our first article. First topic, spiraling violence. The news is that Israeli raid in Jenin with combat helicopters killed 7 Palestinians. And adding to it, the occupied West Bank witnessed a sharp escalation in violence this week. This is because local Palestinian resistance group such as Jenin Brigade have emerged, and they are carrying out attacks on Israeli soldiers and settlers using homemade weapons and low-tech bombs. So we can see both the sides have involved in violent attacks recently. According to the United Nations, Israel has killed at least 114 Palestinians, while at least 19 Israelis have fallen to Palestinian attack. So from this context, let us know about Israel-Palestine conflict in comprehensive manner. See, the Israel-Palestine conflict is one of the world's longest running and most controversial conflicts. It is a conflict between two self-determination movements. They are the Jewish nationalist project and the Palestinian nationalist project in the same territory. Though claims of both Jews and Arab Muslims date back to a couple of thousand years, the current political conflict began in the early 20th century only. Since then, there has been a gradual expansion of territories occupied by Israel, and today Palestinians are confined to only 2 regions. Those are West Bank and Gaza Strip. You can see it from the map which is attached here. This issue re-emerged in news 2 years back due to recent rocket attacks conducted by Hamas on Israeli territories. In retaliation, Israeli airstrikes are targeting the Gaza Strip. See, 2 years back, Israel and Hamas exchanged heavy fire. The conflict has resulted in the death of 35 Palestinians in Gaza and 5 in Israel by then. The escalation was sparked by unrest at Jerusalem's flashpoint Al-Aqsa Mosque compound. From that, the country has been embroiled in conflict over the threat of eviction of dozens of Palestinians from East Jerusalem's neighborhood. Over 70 Palestinians in total are said to be evicted from Sheikh Jarrah in the coming weeks, which are to be replaced by right-wing Jewish Israelis. This 2021 incident is the heaviest fighting between the two bitter enemies since 2014, and it isn't showing any signs of slowing after that. See, as a response, an emergency meeting of UNSC was conducted for drawing out an immediate plan of de-escalation and restoration of peace in the region. Now coming to Israel-Palestinian conflict, firstly, Israel is the world's only Jewish state which is located just east of Mediterranean Sea. And know that Palestinians who are the Arab population refer to the territory as Palestine, and they want to establish a state by that name on all or part of the same land. Secondly, Israel-Palestinian conflict is over who gets what land and how it is controlled. Thirdly, though both Jews and Arab Muslims date their claims to the land, as I said before, couple of thousand years, the temporary political conflict began in the early 20th century. Fourthly, Jews fleeing persecution in Europe decided to create a national homeland in an Arab and Muslim majority territory. This territory was part of the Ottoman Empire and later became part of British Empire. Fifthly, the Arab resisted seeing the land as rightfully theirs. Since then, both parties have battled several wars over the territory. Now, if we take the Israel-Palestine peace process, first is the Camp David Accords, which was brokered by US in 1978. It set the stage for peace talks between Israel and its neighbors and a resolution to the Palestinian problem. However, know that no concrete results were obtained. Then the second measure is the Oslo Accords, which was also meditated by the US in the year 1993. Under this, Israel and the PLO agreed to officially recognize each other and renounce the use of violence. It could create a Palestinian state in Gaza and the West Bank in exchange for an agreement by Palestinians to end any type of attack on Israel. Also, they gave limited autonomy in the Gaza Strip and parts of the West Bank to the Palestinian Authority. However, both states are yet to agree on the provisions of Oslo Accords. If we take today's situation, today lines largely echo to the consequences of 1967 war. The West Bank appears to be controlled by the Palestinian Authority, although it is largely under Israeli occupation. And the Gaza Strip is controlled by Hamas, which is an Islamist fundamentalist party. Then probable solutions to Israel-Palestine conflict would be like creating a two-state solution. Firstly, it would create a sovereign Israel and Palestine. It would establish Palestine as an independent state in Gaza and most of the West Bank, leaving the rest of the land to Israel. Secondly, this two-state solution has been the goal of international communities as well for decades, dating back to the 1947 UN partition plan. Thirdly, it would identify 1967 demarcation line known as Green Line to partition Palestinian and Israeli land. Then few others suggest for going with one state solution. It would merge Israel, West Bank and Gaza Strip into one big country, and it comes into two versions. Like one favored by some leftists and Palestinians would create a single democratic country. The other version is that Israel annexing West Bank and forcing out Palestinians or denying them the right of vote. This move is favored by some rightists and Israelis. Why is the issue not still resolved is that both Israel and Palestinians hold competing claims to the Jerusalem city. Israel, which occupied the formerly Jordanian-held eastern part in 1967, regards the whole of Jerusalem as its capital, whereas the Palestinians insist on East Jerusalem as their future capital. The second factor is the Palestinian statehood. No consensus have been developed over the status of Palestinian statehood among the PLO and Israeli officials. Further, Israel insists that any peace deal must include Palestinian recognition of it as the nation state of the Jewish people. Third factor is regarding borders. Both sides have fundamentally different ideas as to where the boundaries of Palestinian state should be. Palestinians insist on border based on ceasefire lines which separated Israel and East Jerusalem, West Bank and Gaza between the years 1949 and 1967. Then the fourth factor is regarding the settlements. See, since 1967, Israel has built about 140 settlements in the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem. They are considered illegal by most of the international community, although Israel disputes this. Palestinians say all settlements must be removed from the Palestinian state. Only then the process of peace deal could be realized. Fifth factor is regarding refugees. The UN says its agencies support about 5.5 million Palestinian refugees in the Middle East. This includes the descendants of people who fled or were expelled by Jewish forces in the years 1948 and 49 when war happened. Here, Palestinians insist on their right to return to their former homes, but Israel says they are not entitled to. Then the last factor is the political division among Palestinians. The Palestinians remain politically divided between Fatah and Hamas, and thus they are unable to negotiate jointly. Further, Israel is unwilling to negotiate with the violent group Hamas. Now, if you take India's stand on Israel-Palestinian conflict, India has been consistently supportive of Palestinian cause, and India was the first non-Arab state to recognize PLO, which is the Palestine Liberation Organization, as sole and legitimate representative of the Palestinian people in the year 1974. Also, India was one of the first countries to recognize the state of Palestine in 1988. In 1996, India opened its representative office to the Palestine Authority in Gaza, which later shifted to Ramallah in 2003. See, currently, India supports a two-state solution to the Israel-Palestinian issue, and as a part of the Link West policy, India has de-hyphenated its relationship with Israel and Palestine from the year 2018. This will allow it to treat both the countries as mutually independent and exclusive. As per India, the issue between the two should be resolved through direct negotiations and solutions which are acceptable to both of them. And India says that international community must try to instill peace among the two states. Further, any successful peace initiative would need to resolve the four core issues that have plagued the peace process. They are relating to West Bank borders, Israeli security, Palestinian refugees, and issues dealing with Jerusalem city. So that is what it is all about, the Israel-Palestinian conflict. So from this topic, we saw about the Israel-Palestinian conflict in historical sense, and also we saw about the measures that are taken, such as like Camp David Accords, Oslo Accords, and what are India's views regarding the conflict. So with this, let us close this article here. Second topic, L&T DRDO signed pact to build AIP modules. The news is that Larsen and Toubro and the DRDO signed a contract for producing two air-independent propulsion system modules for Kalvari class of submarines. So from this news, let us know about Project 75 and also about the AIP systems. See, Project 75 got approved in 2007 as a part of Indian Navy's 30-year plan. This project envisages indigenous submarine construction of 6 modern conventional submarines with contemporary equipments like fuel cell based AIP, advanced torpedoes, and modern missiles. It is also the first program to be progressed under the strategic partnership concept, which offers a level playing field to private sector. Now, if we take the significance of this project, this would bring a major boost to the indigenous design and construction capabilities of submarines in India, as well as bring in latest submarine designs and technologies. Secondly, the project would not only aid in boosting the core submarine industry, but it would also enhance the industrial sector, especially the MSMEs, by providing and developing industrial ecosystem for manufacture of associated equipments. Then, this will be an important step towards meeting broader national objectives besides aligning the defense sector with the Make in India initiative of government. Then if we take the challenges associated with this project, first factor is regarding the poor R&D investment. See, naval technologies are complex and involve significant R&D investments for developing submarines. But in India, only L&T has made a significant investment. Second factor is the previous delays. The last two submarines developed under Project 75 Kalvari class were supposed to be fitted with AIP systems, but the slow development of system by the DRDO caused a significant delay in the Indian Navy submarine plan. Then the third factor is lack of essentials. We are also lacking in essential capacities such as advanced towed array sonars to detect enemy submarines, heavyweight torpedoes to neutralize them, and varied air defense systems. These are crucial not only to survivability of submarines, but also to their overall offensive capabilities. Then the indigenous fuel cell based AIP being made by DRDO is land based prototype. DRDO has not developed a marine AIP system that can be deployed on submarines to function underwater situations. Practical way forward is that strategic partners and DRDO should seek a foreign collaborator for Project 75I who will install the indigenous AIP on the selected submarines and conduct collaborative trials. Once proven at sea, the indigenous AIP could be installed in all new submarines and retrofitted in the old ones. And now coming to the AIP systems, see, air independent propulsion is any marine propulsion technology that allows a non-nuclear submarine to operate without access to atmospheric oxygen. Secondly, AIP can augment or replace the diesel electric propulsion system of non-nuclear vessels. Importantly, this AIP system enables conventional submarines to remain submerged for a long duration. Then if we take the significance of AIP, AIP significantly improves the stealth of submarine as it allows a submarine to generate electricity for services and battery charging and propulsion while completely submerged. Then AIP enables conventional submarines to remain submerged for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. This significantly reduces the risk of detection. In addition to it, AIP systems also permits diesel electric submarines to recharge their batteries independent of their engines. Then as a stealth technique, it also helps to reduce the noise without compromising the submarine's performance. These are few significance of AIP systems which is currently under development. So that is all about the topic here. In this article, we saw about Project 75I and also dealt with air independent propulsion system. So with this, let us close this news article here. Third topic, Amit search for Titan, lessons for proposed Indian submersible dive. The Titan is the vessel that went missing in the area of Titanic wreck in the North Atlantic. Know that it is classified as submersible, not a submarine, because it does not function as an autonomous craft. Instead, they rely on support system to deploy and return. See, submersibles are small, limited range watercraft designed for a set mission. These submersibles are built with characteristics that allow them to operate in a specific environment. And these vessels are typically able to be fully submerged into water and cruise using their own power supply and air renewable systems. While some submersibles are remotely operated and essentially manually controlled or programmed robots, these usually operate unmanned. Vessels like the missing Titan are known as human occupied vessels. Then let us see what is the difference between a submarine and a submersible. See, the difference between a submarine and submersible is that a submarine has enough power to leave port and come back to the port under its own power supply. On the other hand, a submersible has very limited power reserves, and so it needs a mothership that can launch it and recover it. The procedure is similar to the boat that takes scuba divers out to sea with their gears, allowing them to jump for their underwater adventure and then climb back on board for the trip back to shore. Moreover, unlike submarines, submersibles also have viewport and external cameras to view the outside space surrounding the vessel. They also have limited power reserves. And if you take the Titan that has appeared in news today, it is because the US Coast Guard said the missing submersible was destroyed in a catastrophic implosion during the descent and all 5 who were aboard were killed. This news got confirmed as a robotic diving vehicle discovered a debris from submersible Titan on the seabed and identified 5 major fragments of the vessel. In addition to this news, the article also mentions about Matsya 600, which is a deep water mission. We know, right? National Institute of Ocean Technology is in the process of designing a submersible which is named Matsya 6000 that will take 3 Indians to the depth of 6,000 meters into Indian Ocean. So from this reference, let us know about Matsya 6000 from exam point of view. See, India recently unveiled its first manned ocean mission named Samudrayan. If we take this mission, it is India's first unique manned ocean mission that aims to send men into the deep sea in submersible vehicle for deep sea exploration and mining of rare minerals. It will send 3 persons in manned submersible vehicle, that is Matsya 6000, to a depth of 6,000 meters into sea for deep underwater study. Note that India completed the preliminary design of Matsya 6000 and started the realization of vehicle. The deep water manned submersible will be ready for trials by the second quarter of 2024. With this, India will join the elite club of nations such as USA, Russia, Japan, France and China to have such underwater vehicles for carrying out subsea activities. If we take the design of the submersible vehicle, India has vast experience in developing unmanned submersible vehicles for a depth of 6,000 meters. This will be used to develop a manned submersible with a depth capability of 6,000 meters under the Deep Ocean Mission program. It will have a titanium alloy personal sphere with human support and safety system in the enclosed space. Also know that it will also have an operational to support emergency insurance up to 96 hours. Know that Matsya 6000 vehicle is being designed and developed by NIOT, which is under the Ministry of Earth Science. Also, it has an endurance of 12 hours under normal operation and 96 hours in case of emergency for human safety. Now coming back to the advantages of submersible vehicle, it will help in carrying out deep ocean exploration of the non-living resources such as polymetallic manganese nodules, gas hydrates, etc., which are located at the depth of 1000 to 5500 meters. Secondly, the manned submersible will allow scientific personnel to observe and understand unexplored deep sea areas by direct intervention. Finally, It will also boost central government's vision of New India that highlights the blue economy as one of the 10 core dimensions of growth. So that is all about the Samudrayan mission and about Matsya 6000 submersible vehicle. So from this news article, we saw about Titan, which was in news, and also about India's Matsya 6000. So with this, let us close this article here. Fourth topic, medicines patent pool deal to make cancer drug cheaper. See, Medicines Patent Pool is a United Nations backed group that works towards increasing access and facilitating the development of life saving medicines for low and middle income countries. This MPP has signed sub license agreements with the Indian based companies that will make certain cancer drugs more accessible and cheaper for patients. So, from this news article, let us know more about MPP. First, let us know what are patents. See, a patent is a form of intellectual property rights, and it gives its owner the right to exclude others from making, selling, and importing an invention for a limited period of time. Now, if we take Indian patent system, an invention relating to product or process that is new and capable of industrial application can be patented in India. Know that the patents are governed by the Patent Act of 1970. The act was further amended in the year 2005, wherein product patents was extended to all fields of technology, including food, drugs, chemicals, and microorganisms. Another fact which you must know is that the term of every patent in India is 20 years. The Patent Act is implemented and administered by the Office of Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademarks. This CGPDTM reports to the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, which is under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Also know that patent applications are filed and processed at Indian Patent Office, which is an office under the Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademarks. The Indian Patent Office is headquartered at Kolkata with branches in Chennai, New Delhi and Mumbai. Now coming back to the patent pooling. Patent pooling can be defined as an agreement between two or more patent holders to aggregate some or all of their patents for the purpose of cross licensing. That is, they license their patents to one another or to third parties. The main aim of patent pools is to facilitate the sharing and transfer of intellectual property. Thereby, this facilitates innovation with a minimum of disturbance from IP related legal issues. See, in the year 2010 only, UNITAID created the Medicines Patent Pool. The MPP's aim was to aggregate patents, clinical trial data, and other IP relating to AIDS, tuberculosis, and hepatitis C medications. This was done to make them available at low cost to manufacturers that commit to produce and sell these to developing nations and low income countries. Earlier, patent pooling was advocated during various disease outbreaks that crippled the world. For example, patent pooling was considered in response to SARS outbreak of 2002 to 2003, H1N1 influenza pandemic of 2009. However, they were never formed. Now, considering the importance of patent pooling in public health, WHO Global Strategy and Plan of Action on Public Health, Innovation and Intellectual Property recognized that patent pools can facilitate innovation and promote access to new health products. Similarly, the Doha Declaration on Public Health, which is a part of TRIPS agreement, also advocated patent pooling. The declaration says that TRIPS member states can circumvent patents to protect public health and promote access to medicines. Now, let us know why international organizations and agreements are stressing upon patent pooling. See, firstly, patent pooling is based on cooperation and shared knowledge. It helps curb the monopolization of life-saving health products and technology. Secondly, the patent pools could improve access to affordable health technologies and products, particularly in poor countries. Thirdly, it can facilitate follow-on innovations to obtain access to the necessary IP to undertake further research and development. Also, it helps in further production and thus ensures quick availability of drugs and vaccines. This is because the creation of a pool and immediate licensing ensures that there are hundreds of manufacturers across the world. So that is why patent pooling is stressed upon by various international organizations and agreements. So from this news article, we dealt about Indian patent system and the patent pooling in biomedical sector as well as its importance. So with this, let us close this article here. Fifth topic, a doorway to an entrepreneurial university. See, over the years, multidisciplinary studies have seen new disciplines such as biochemistry and computing science. Alongside this, we are also witnessing new subdisciplines including artificial intelligence and generative AI. So, highlighting such new disciplines, the author is saying that the modern university systems, which scales up research and study in many disciplines, keep evolving. Also, he adds that innovations that brings together academic and industrial research work are creating economic and intellectual values for universities. This joint enterprise of academia and industry, according to him, is entering new phase, which he names as entrepreneurial university. He emphasizes this idea of entrepreneurial university by encouraging a fine balance between education and enterprise. In short, he says education can be value neutral and it can be provided for a cost where learners pay an optimal price of attaining knowledge, gaining employable skills, or pursuing serious research. This is because there is a definite need to create instruments and pathways that foster research and lead to a commercialization of research output. Only if this commercialization happens, the university system can capitalize the intellectual value of new product or processes. Adding to that, only such commercialization can also be an encouraging and incentive factor to promote innovation and raise the quest for undertaking further study. Accordingly, he says, the university grants commissions initiative to institutionalize the concept of professor of practice is perhaps a right pointer towards an entrepreneurial university. See, basically, the initiative of UGC wants to bring industry and other professional expertise into academic institutions through a new category of position, which he calls as Professor of Practices. See, the POPs are often hired from outside academia and may not be required to have a PhD or other advanced research degrees. They are expected to bring real world insights and perspectives to the classrooms and know that POPs can be found in fields that include business, engineering, law, journalism, and the arts. Moreover, they can serve as mentors for student projects and develop new courses that are more aligned to industrial trends. In short, UGC is now taking steps to broaden its perspective of integrating non-traditional academicians into education system. This move is set to bring competition in the education market, which also will increase the efficiency of traditional teachers working in higher education institutions. In addition to all these, POPs can serve as ambassadors for their universities, building relationship with industrial partners, and thereby it would help students to connect with internships and job opportunities. By telling all such advantages, the author acknowledges the effort of UGC and concludes by saying that if such ideas grow, the idea of an entrepreneurial university could also be realized. That is what the opinion section has to say about UGC's new initiative. So with this, let us close this news article discussion and move to the previous year prelims questions. Coming to the previous year prelims questions, see, today we will be discussing two questions which appeared in the year 2021 prelims. Consider the first question. With reference to India, the term Halbi, Ho and Kui pertains to, the options given are option A, dance forms of Northwest India, option B, musical instruments, option C, prehistoric cave painting, option D, tribal languages. See, this is a direct fact-based question. Some of the popular languages spoken by the tribes of India are Batri, Billi, Halbi, Ho and Kui, etc. So the answer for this question is option D, tribal languages. See, Halbi, which is said here, is spoken by over 5.25 lakh people living in the states of Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. This language belongs to the group of Indo-Aryan tribal languages, and some other important Dravidian tribal languages are Kui and Ho, which is mentioned here. So the correct answer for this question is option D, tribal languages. Second question, what is the position of right to property in India? The options given are option A, legal right available to citizens only, option B, legal right available to any person, option C, fundamental right available to citizens only, option D, neither fundamental right nor legal right. See, according to the Constitution, Article 300A, no person shall be deprived of his property except by the authority of law. Since the article says that no person shall be deprived, so the statement legal rights available to citizens only is wrong. Then this article was inserted in Indian Constitution by the 44th Constitutional Amendment Act. Before that, right to property was a fundamental right under Article 31. So now, after the 44th Constitutional Amendment Act, this is not a fundamental right. So option C is also wrong. But this right to property that is mentioned in the Article 300A is a legal and a constitutional right. So the answer for this question is option B, legal right that is available to any person. With this, let us wind up our discussion. If you can understand the way I am teaching, and if you can understand the concepts well, please like, share, comment and subscribe to ForumIAS Academy in various social media platforms for further update. Thank you.